All right, let's dive right in, shall we? Today, we're tackling Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power,
Yes,
which, let's be honest, has a bit of a ruthless reputation.
it's true.
But before anyone starts strategizing their climb to the top,
Yeah,
I think it's important to remember that this deep dive is more about awareness than, actually becoming a Machiavellian mastermind.
it's true. It's more like Green is giving us this X-ray vision into
Yeah.
how power dynamics really work.
Exactly, like those hidden levers and pulleys behind everyday interactions from the
Yes.
boardroom
Oh, yeah?
to, let's be honest, even a family dinner sometimes, right?
Actually, think about it. Haven't you ever felt like you were in a game but didn't know the rules?
All the time.
That's what Green lays bare.
Okay, so give me an example. What's one of these power laws that might be playing out in my life right now and I don't even realize it?
All right, how about Law 1? Never outshine the masters.
Ooh, that sounds ominous.
It's all about understanding that making your superiors feel insecure is a one-way ticket to Troubleville.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
The classic example is Nicolas Fouquet, right?
Yeah.
Louis XIV's finance minister, throws this lavish party thinking he's impressing the king,
Oh, no.
but with the Sun King, that's the last thing you want to do.
Because it's all about him.
Exactly. Fouquet unintentionally upstaged Louis, threatened his whole image,
And boom, he's out.
imprisoned, actually.
Ouch.
But the lesson is bigger than just don't throw a better party than your boss. You see what I mean?
So it's not even about the party, it's about how power dynamics make people ACT.
Exactly. Fouquet misread the situation, made Louis feel threatened, and paid the price.
Okay, so fast forward to the 21st century. If I'm, say, gunning for my boss's job, maybe don't want to look too competent when they're around.
Now you're getting it. It's about playing the game, even if you hate the rules.
Okay, that's kind of terrifying, but also incredibly useful to know.
Right.
So speaking of playing the game, what about Law 7? Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. That just screams bad boss, doesn't it?
Well, it's certainly a strategy that's been used and abused.
Oh, I bet. By some pretty big names in history, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. But let's be clear. It's not about being lazy. It's about delegation and leadership, at least when done well.
Okay, so there's a right way to use this law.
Think of Talleyrand.
He's like, Napoleon's right-hand man, right?
More like he played everyone.
No way.
Seriously, this guy served under Napoleon, outmaneuvered him, and even survived his downfall.
That's some serious maneuvering. I can barely handle my email inbox.
Talleyrand was a master of indirect action. Instead of going head-to-head with Napoleon, which, let's be honest, would have been a very short career move,
Yeah, probably not good for your health.
he played the long game. Subtle manipulations, whispers in the right ears.
So he was like a puppet master, but no one saw the strings.
Precisely. And that's what's so fascinating about these laws. They're about psychology, timing, and knowing when to make your move and when to lay low.
So we've got don't outshine the boss and be a subtle puppet master. Got it. What about those laws that make you go, wait, that actually worked?
Ah, you're looking for Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim.
Okay, that sounds a little less like boardroom tactics and a little more like, I don't know, con artistry.
Well, it's all about playing the long game.
All right, I'm listening. But for the record, I'm not planning on scamming anyone anytime soon.
Of course, of course. But imagine you're someone like, say, Count Victor Lustig.
Oh.
Oh, only one of the smoothest con men in history.
Oh.
Now, Lustig had a knack for spotting a mark.
As they say.
And in Al Capone, he saw someone, USED, to dealing with con artists. Someone craving a genuine interaction.
Wait, hold on, Al Capone, like the gangster.
The one and only.
Okay, I got it here.
So Lustig, he approaches Capone with this totally legit-sounding business proposition, right?
Yeah.
Asks for a hefty investment, promises to double his money.
Sounds familiar.
But here's the thing. Instead of doing the usual disappearing act, Lustig, he sticks around.
Bold move, considering it's Al Capone.
He plays the role of the honest businessman, the deal's taking longer than expected, builds that trust.
Okay, but why isn't Capone sending his goons after him?
Because Lustig plays his trump card. Weeks later, he goes back to Capone, empty-handed, says the deal fell through, returns all the money.
No way.
Capone's blown away, right? This act of integrity.
I mean, I'd be surprised.
So what does Capone do? He rewards Lustig, gives him a smaller sum, just for being a stand-up guy.
So Lustig turned a failed con into a payday by playing the honesty card.
Exactly. He understood what Capone valued, genuine connection, and he gave him a taste of it.
That's both brilliant and terrifying. Now I'm wondering who's playing these games with me in my own life.
But that's the thing about these laws. Once you see them, they're everywhere.
Okay, so you're telling me there's 48 of these laws.
48. And they run the gamut from, like we said, office politics to, well, historical intrigue.
All right, hit me with another one. What's a law that would make, say, a 19th century emperor raise an eyebrow?
How about this? Law 3, conceal your intentions. Sounds simple enough, right?
Keep him guessing.
But Greene, he takes it further. He's saying the more mysterious you are, the more your opponents will tie themselves in knots trying to figure you out.
So it's like, don't just hide your hand, hide that you're even playing cards.
Precisely. Less about poker face, more about, like, disappearing in a puff of smoke.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but I need an example. When has this mystery man tactic really worked?
Ever heard of Otto von Bismarck?
Vaguely. German guy.
The guy who basically unified Germany. Architect of modern Europe, some would say.
Okay, that's a pretty big deal.
So picture this. 1850s, Prussia, they're itching for a war with Austria. Bismarck, he gives this speech, and everyone's expecting fiery declarations of war, right?
Makes sense.
Instead, Bismarck, he comes out advocating for peace. And this is from the guy who, just a few years later, orchestrates that very war.
Whoa, talk about a plot twist. So he was playing the long game.
Masterfully.
Oh.
By pretending to be this pacifist, he lulled Austria into a false sense of security.
While secretly preparing for war.
Exactly. It was a brilliant deception.
And I bet that whole peace act went over well with the Prussian king, too.
Absolutely. The king, he was hesitant about war. Bismarck's performance gave him the cover to build up the Prussian military without raising eyebrows.
So sometimes the best way to get what you want is to make people think you want the opposite.
It can be a powerful strategy. It's all about understanding that appearances can be deceiving.
Okay, this is making my head spin a little, but in a good way. What's next?
Ready for something a little more strategic?
Bring it on!
Let's talk about Law 8. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary.
Okay, that sounds a little less benevolent Bismarck and a little more, I don't know, spider luring a fly.
It's all about creating a situation where your opponent thinks they're in control, but they're actually walking right into your web.
Okay, so it's about setting a trap, but making it look like a good deal.
You got it. It's about patience, strategy, understanding your opponent's weaknesses.
Didn't we talk about Talleyrand earlier? Wasn't he a master of this?
Oh, absolutely. When Napoleon got exiled to Elba, everyone thought he was finished.
But he wasn't.
Not quite. Talleyrand, he knew better. He understood Napoleon's ego, his ambition. So instead of trying to crush him directly, he started spreading rumors, stoking those fears of a Napoleonic comeback.
He was practically begging Napoleon to come back and fight.
Precisely. And when Napoleon did escape and tried to regain power, he walked right into Talleyrand's trap. The court, the public, everyone was already primed to see Napoleon as a threat.
Talk about playing 4D chess.
Right. Now, on that note of understanding human nature, let's talk about Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you.
Okay, so we're not talking about making friends. We're talking about making allies.
Think of it this way. Everyone needs something. If you can identify that need and be the one to fulfill it.
You become indispensable.
Exactly. It's not about being liked, it's about being needed.
Give me an example. Make me truly understand the power of need.
Cardinal Richelieu, 17th century France. Power behind the throne.
Oh, yeah, he was basically running the show, right?
He knew that to keep his position with the, shall we say, temperamental Louis III,
Ooh, gossip.
he had to be more than an advisor, he had to be indispensable.
How do you even do that? Did he have, like, blackmail on everyone?
Subtler than that. Richelieu made himself the problem solver, always had a solution, surrounded himself with talented people, making himself the linchpin.
So to get rid of Richelieu, you'd have to dismantle the whole system.
Exactly. Louis XIII, for all his faults, knew Richelieu was reliable. He wasn't powerful in name, but he was the power behind the throne.
Wow, it's kind of brilliant. A little scary, but brilliant.
That's the thing about power, isn't it?
Hmm?
It's not always about brute force. Sometimes it's about being the one with the answers.
Okay, I need a moment to process all this strategic maneuvering. My brain needs a break.
A wise move. Sometimes a strategic retreat is just as important as a calculated advance.
All right, you've convinced me. Let's take a quick breather and come back for more 48 Laws wisdom. All right, back to Greene's playbook. What Machiavellian wisdom are we unlocking today?
Let's talk strategy, shall we? Specifically, Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy.
Okay, that sounds like it could go very right or very wrong.
It's about being informed, Greene would say knowledge, especially about your rivals. That's a power.
So it's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared.
Exactly. Keep your friends close, but gather intel like it's oxygen. You never know when you'll need it.
All right, you've got my attention, but give me an example. I need a good story to really get this.
All right, picture this. Early 1900s, you're an art collector. Super rich, even more discerning.
Okay, I like where this is going.
And you hear whispers of this guy, Joseph Duveen.
The art dealer, wasn't he like the king of the art world back then?
Duveen, he wasn't just selling paintings, he was selling an entire experience. And to do that, he needed to know everything about his clients.
So he was like a detective, snooping around mansions.
More like he'd spend months, years even, befriending his clients, learning their tastes, their secrets, what made them tick.
Okay, that's actually kind of brilliant. While everyone else was showing off paintings, he was studying the buyer.
And that's how Duveen became Duveen. He'd use that intel to curate the perfect collection for each client. They weren't just buying a pretty picture, they were buying an extension of themselves.
Okay, I'm starting to see how powerful this friend spy approach can be. It's not about manipulation, it's about understanding.
Exactly. And once you understand someone, really understand them, you can anticipate their moves, play to their desires.
Powerful stuff, but I'm also feeling a little vulnerable right now.
It's all about balance.
Right.
For every law focused on outmaneuvering, Greene offers one about self-control.
Okay, good, because my head is spinning with all this strategizing.
Then let's shift gears. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aims for. In victory, learn when to stop.
Ooh, that sounds almost zen.
It's all about recognizing when you've won. Greed and overconfidence, those are dangerous beasts even when you're on a roll.
It's like that feeling at the casino, winning hand after hand. It's so tempting to keep pushing your luck.
And that's how empires fall, my friend. Take Vasco Núñez de Balboa,
He was the explorer, right? Discovered the Pacific Ocean.
the one and only. You'd think discovering an ocean would be enough for one lifetime, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's like peak achievement unlocked.
But Balboa, he gets fixated on conquering the Incas. Overreaches, underestimates his enemies.
Oh no, this can't end well.
Let's just say it didn't end with a triumphant return home.
It's a reminder that ambition without wisdom, that's a dangerous cocktail.
Sometimes the greatest victory is knowing when to walk away.
Knowing when you've won and leaving it at that.
Exactly.
Which leads us to, I think, a very fitting law to wrap things up with. What was it, Law 36, the one about letting go?
Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. It's about recognizing that some battles can't be won, and that's okay.
Because sometimes the thing you're chasing, it's just not meant to be, right?
And that's where acceptance comes in. Dwelling on what you can't control, what you can't have, that only leads to frustration.
I mean, when you could be focusing on what you can change.
Precisely.
I like that. A good reminder for all of us, whether we're navigating boardrooms or, just trying to get through the day.
It's about focusing on what truly matters.
Well said. So as we close out this deep dive into Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, I hope everyone listening remembers. These laws, they're tools. Use them wisely, ethically, or better yet.
Maybe just be aware of them.
Exactly. Awareness is power. Until next time, everyone, stay curious and stay powerful.